Hey folks, Tanner Cherney here of Devil's Lake Tourism checking in this week. I'm out in my garage, kind of getting things tidied up before the weekend hits. I'm getting some ice fishing gear ready. It's hard to believe it's already going to be the 1st of March this coming Saturday. So I wanted to kind of get a little information out there on how our ice conditions are sitting. You know, we had that big cold snap here the last couple weeks, and lo and behold, we've actually had some nicer days in the last few days, and it looks like looking ahead, we've got some pretty nice March ice fishing up coming in. Currently, we're sitting with a good 30 solid inches of ice on the lake. Definitely word of the wise, if you're coming up in the next week or two, bring an extension. You're going to want that in most places. There might be some areas where you might squeak by without one, but for the most part, you're going to want an extension on your auger. Ice is looking great. You know, looking forward to March. I think we're going to have another good 2 to 3, if not 4 weeks of good solid ice fishing. That can all change depending on weather, you know, whether it warms up, we get any rain or more snow, and just how those shorelines hold up. But as far as everything looks right now, we have another good, probably month of ice fishing ahead of us. When it comes to the perch fishing, some of the best fishing is right around the corner. Longer days, more sunlight, stable weather, really gets those perch snapping. This time of year, small tungsten jigs or small buckshots have been working really well on perch, getting out into that basin when you're 35, 40, 45 feet of water. Biggest thing is when you do get these nice days out there, get a plan of attack, find a spot, drill all your holes at once, create that commotion, let that settle down, and just start hole hopping in those areas until you find some of those perch. One thing I like to do is run some tip ups with those perch, whether it's flanking out to the sides. That way, if that school is moving and you're moving in one direction with your jig and pole, you can kind of see a flag start going that maybe there's perch moving the other way. Good friend of mine, Pat Calmerton from Wisconsin, kind of taught me that trick, and it's a good way to stay on top of the school of fish if there's only 1 or 2 of you guys out there. And lastly, when it comes to walleye fishing, that bite's been pretty dang good all year long. And as we get closer to spring and that spawn, that bite's only going to pick up. Fish are going to be more aggressive. Right now, 15 to 20 feet of water, Old Lake shoreline has been fantastic, but also don't be afraid to find some of those submerged rock piles. And as we get closer to ice off up here in the next month, don't be afraid to try some of those bridge areas where that current starts to come through. Be cautious around those areas, but those can be good places to target late ice walleyes. And lastly, just a couple tips. When it comes to walleye fishing this time of year, aggressive style, like a little rip and wrap kind of lure here, is great to cause a commotion, or a buckshot, or any kind of like pinhead minnow. This is, I want to say, the frostbite dinner bell. But there's a couple different options when it comes to rattling blade spoons. Those are a key right now in Devil's Lake. Create commotion, get those fish active. And if you notice those fish are coming in and not committing, don't be afraid to have a full minnow down on a plain hook, or even just a small little jig head next to it. We like to call that the Devil's Lake 1-2 punch. Enjoy the warm weather coming up. Get out there, enjoy this last month of ice fishing that we have ahead of us. Looks like it's going to be a great one. Keep the lines tight and be safe.